May you find happiness and peace, and may your home stand the test of time.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mary. Today I'll be reacting to Candace Owens debates college feminists. This is a full clip, so without further ado, let's get started.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. So I noticed you had a lot of thoughts on feminism. I'm a feminist, but
Totally fine.
I was just wondering, how do you differentiate between the extremism that exists in feminism as it does across, multiple different ideologies, but how do you differentiate between the extremism and how, feminists like me think? I don't hate men.
It's a great question, and I'm glad you asked it. It's a great question. So what you have to realize about the left when you talk about extremism is they hack words that once had real meaning, and they take them for their own nefarious goals, right? So they'll say racism, and you'll go, oh my God, no, really, racism used to exist, but now it means organizing your pantry. That's obviously not racism. That's completely ridiculous. You see something like feminism, and once upon a time, women were fighting for the right to vote. Well, now we have that. We have equal footing, and now they're using those terms. They're hiding behind the shield of feminism, and they're doing actually horrible things in society. And I blame feminists for almost every ill that we have right now because they've encouraged people not to act as a woman, and they bash men all the time. And I think that they have contributed the most to the breakdown of family in terms of an ideology. Now, for you,
answer my question.
No, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Now, for you, you're like, okay, but I actually am somebody that just believes in equality, that there should be equality between the sexes, right?
I think it's more culturally and socially, not necessarily in the realm of legality.
Sure, so I'm going to ask you, what is it socially? So you can call yourself something, right? That means that there's some fight that you have. What is it socially that you and I have as women that we don't have that men do? Why is there a need for you to be a feminist?
I think as women, we are undervalued when it comes to our intelligence. I think people, especially for me, as a woman who, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Go ahead, let her talk.
For me, as a woman, I feel like a lot of people look at me and think I'm superficial. They think I'm vapid. They don't necessarily see that I could be intelligent, that I could speak for myself. They tend to automatically...
Guys, don't be rude. Go ahead.
I tend to get belittled a lot, and that comes from men, not necessarily women, right?
So you're saying in your personal capacity, men are belittling you, right? But when you talk about affecting actually a social change, this might be your personal experience, but does that mean that all women are going through this, or that all women are experiencing this belittlement by men?
And see, I understand that, but I think also when I listen to you speak, and you speak on why you don't like feminism, I hear a lot of anecdotal work, and I hear a lot of personal experience, like your experience in that one class that you had, whereas I've had 5-6 classes in my gender studies courses,
right,
and I've never experienced
that's
anything
totally
like that.
Fine. That's
ever.
totally fine.
You know
Guys,
what I mean?
They're
So
just
I just don't
laughing
feel like it's fair to
studies.
take personal
it's totally
experience
fine. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm actually talking about the real world consequences of the dangerous ideology telling women that they have to take their clothes off, that they should be on TikTok. I'm talking about real world consequences.
Yeah,
I'm talking about literally the fact that women are no longer, like, they're by and large all climbing the corporate ladder, and that children are being ceded over to the state. So I was giving you an anecdotal example of what happened in my feminist class, but the repercussions of that are seen everywhere. What I am saying is that what I'm offering to you is not to feel like you have to give yourself an ism, right? Don't feel like you have to put yourself in a box. Don't feel like you have to put yourself into some weird social constructs. I think that what you'll find with time is that it constrains you unnecessarily. I don't have a problem with the fact if you want to identify as a feminist and you think that there is some fight that needs to be ended. I don't personally think that that's...
Is conservatism not a box any more than feminism is?
Well, saying that I have conservative principles, feminism is not being a conservative or being a liberal, right? You're talking about an ideology, right? A system you think
I would assume conservatism is also an ideology as well, is it not?
Sure. Conservatism is an ideology. These are the things that we believe. You could say that everything is an ideology. What I'm saying to you is that I would not necessarily paint yourself into a corner. You don't seem to me like you have any issues speaking up. You don't seem to me like you feel like you're constrained in any way. You're standing up here today. I would offer to you that there's never been a more remarkable time to be a woman in this society. By every statistic, we are doing better than men.
Wow.
That's a fact, right? Men have a higher, we are graduating at a higher rate than men. Men have higher suicide rates. That's why I said to you, despite how you're feeling, what are the real world implications that suggest to you that you are somehow beneath men? You might have a personal experience where a man...
we can talk about sexual assault everywhere, in the military, in the home.
So are these the things that you're fighting to end sexual assault?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, great. You don't have to be a feminist to fight to end sexual assault.
You don't have to be,
and men and women.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't believe you have to
It's a great cause.
But it's,
Men
of course, a part
and
of the
women go
ideology.
through that. I just said to him, one of the biggest things that I give to every year is for human sex trafficking. It doesn't require to be a feminist. Now, you seem really committed to it. I've said to you since the very beginning, if you want to be a feminist girl, put it on a t-shirt, wear it, put a hashtag. I'm just telling you, don't unnecessarily put yourself into a corner, and to recognize that it has never been a greater time. I would offer it is a way better time in this society to be a woman.
Guys, this is, Owen is, she's a brilliant and smart woman, because that is the gospel truth. There have never been a better time to be a woman than now, because you have everything in your fingertips. So no one is limiting you. No one is cutting you short when you speak. No one is depriving you of voting. No one is forcing you to be in the kitchen. You are free to be whoever you choose to be. I remember back then when my parents would tell me like, they don't, I think their grandparents don't like training their female daughter because they know that someone is going to come and marry them. But they end up training their male simply because, their male will surely provide for them when they grow old. But now, both male and female are all going to school. And when they come out, you are allowed to do whatever job you feel you are qualified to do. And no one is going to limit you or make you feel bad that you're a woman. Because you're a woman, you cannot do this. No, the world is free. They are accepting women, they are accepting men the same way. Even now, a whole lot of men want to become a woman because they see that that gender is favorable. Just like in my country, there is this guy we call Bobrisky. He practically dressed like a woman, he acted like a woman, and he enjoyed all the woman benefits. I think last few weeks he was, named the best female dresser for, I think, a movie premiere. And like, women were there, dressed properly and smart and beautiful, dressed, spent their money on their outfit. But because of how he was able to dress, he actually took the award. And that is what women are going through now. Like, men are transitioning into women, entering women's sports and, trying to compete with them. Instead, a few years back, it was the other way around. Women wanted to be like men, have privilege of going to school, have privilege of voting, have privilege of, speaking out. And now it's like, you've gotten what you want, and now men are actually trying to get what you did not appreciate then. You felt like, it's a normal thing. Now we are working hard to even get there. Anyway, this is, like she said, this is a beautiful time to be a woman, because you are not bound or limited to anything. You are free to be the best version of yourself, and no one is going to talk you down for doing that. And I feel now it's becoming worse because, in terms of, family upbringing, it's becoming worse because then you could see that parents were able to train a well-respected children, a well-humbled children, but now both male and female are going outside looking for this money. And no one is there to caution their children on what to do and what not to do. Now they learn different things in school, come back and start acting some way that you'll be wondering, this character is not in my gene. Why are you behaving this way? It's like we spend little or no time with our kids now because of the pursuit of money, the pursuit of success, the pursuit of, fame. And we forget to do, invest those time on our children. And it's really, it might, end up hurting us in the future. But I just pray that, things should just fall into place. But this is what she said is totally fine. If you want to protest, you want to be a feminine, you want to fight for a woman, it should be a cause that every woman out there is passing through. It shouldn't be just your personal, thing. If someone should cut you short, there's a free word. You can decide to talk back at the person, and no one is going to stop you from talking. Okay, if you feel like they don't want to hear you speak, they are not the only audience. You can go out and do your thing. If you want to talk about women, you can print it on your shirt and go outside. You are free. No one is going to arrest you for doing that. It's a free world, and both the male and female are really, really benefiting now. Everyone is free. That is why freedom of speech is there. No matter what you have in mind, you can decide to identify as whatever you want to identify, and there's no limit to it. You can decide to speak whatever you want to. No one is stopping you. You have freedom of speech. You can decide to travel to wherever you want to travel to. So long as you have permission to be there, you will be there. And no one is limiting you to what you can do. So, let's just say she has a personal, view of this feminism. But I'm glad she brought it up to Owen, and Owen was able to clarify things. And what I don't like was the way they were trying to cut her short in the process of her talking. But still, like, the world is in a better state now than before. I know a whole lot of things are happening, but when it comes to feminism, like, women are so free to be the best version of themselves. Anyway, that's a beautiful one. Let me know what you think in the comment section. It is your first time visiting the channel. Click on the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and remain blessed.